I'll play a little Dick Blumenthal in Connecticut. He's quite possibly one of the worst candidates that we have running now. I believe he's going to win because Connecticut has been I don't even know what's happening to New England anymore. I mean, it's just insane. Richard Blumenthal was a guy who was on my program, and I asked him, do you have the audio by any chance, Pat? I asked him, where do you find going after the AIG bonuses? I find them reprehensible, the bonuses. This is before we understood exactly what the bonuses were and how the government, when they came in, convinced these people to stay on, say, we'll pay you $1, and then we'll give you a bonus at the end of the year. I said to him, where do you find this in the law to be able to just to go to confiscate these bonuses? And here's how he responded.
Through the interviews with you, and nobody's asked this question, and I'm just dying to know, and I know you'll have the answer. What law did the AIG executives break when they took those bonuses that were mandated by a legal contract?
The AIG executives did not themselves break a contract.
So then why were you going after them?
Well, we're not going after
them. No, you were.
We're going after the bonuses.
Yeah, well, it's their bonuses.
We're never going after the...
No, their bonuses, sir. They are their bonuses. They earned that money. What law did they break that gave you the ability in Connecticut to go after those bonuses?
Well, let's take it one step at a time. The money they received came from us, the taxpayers.
Oh, I know how this works. I'm asking you, sir, you're the Attorney General. I'm asking you for the law that they broke that gave you the ability. Are you not the defender of the law in Connecticut?
The law that they broke is the law that requires that they serve the public interest, that bonuses,
what law is that?
Are paid.
Wait, what law is that, sir? You're the chief law enforcement officer. What law is, say that again? I don't recognize that law. It sounds like a good policy. It sounds like a good rule of thumb, but I'm not sure I recognize that law. Could you give that to me again?
Well, you know, again, these funds belong to us, the taxpayers.
No, sir. Sir, look, you know what you've done? You know what you've done? You are an insult to George Washington, sir. George Washington made it very clear that we are a respecter of laws, not of men. For your own political gain, you have decided to go after these people at AIG because it is a popular thing. And while I may agree with you that it is obscene, I would like to know, sir, not what's right as a rule of thumb, not what makes us feel good. You, sir, are to protect people and to stand for the law in Connecticut. So again, I ask you, sir, what law gave you the right to go after them? What law did they break?
Well, I think you're wrong in the basic premise. We're not going after any individual. We're asking the United States...
the Attorney General.
Let me finish. You have to let me finish if you want to know what law I'm talking about.
We're not going after the people. We're going after their money.
Yeah,
this guy will do anything. If you, Connecticut, want to put another person in Congress that doesn't care about what the law says, then you get exactly what you deserve. If you go put another person in Congress that will write anything, will do anything for what's political expediency or what he believes is right, and there is no limitation, well, you get what you deserve.
And his response to that, when you had him on the spot a couple of years ago at CNN, was very similar to what happened to him the other night at the debate when Linda McMahon asked him how you create jobs.
Here it is.
A follow-up, Mr. Blumenthal. You've talked about you want to incentivize small businesses. Tell me something. How do you create a job?
A job is created, and it can be in a variety of ways, by a variety of people, but principally by people and businesses in response to demand for products and services. And the main point about jobs in Connecticut is we can and we should create more of them by creative policies. And that's the kind of approach that I want to bring to Washington. I have stood up for jobs when they've been at stake. I stood up for jobs at Alderman Motors when GM wanted to shut down that automobile dealership. I stood up for jobs at Pratt & Whitney when that company wanted to ship them out of state and overseas. I stood up for jobs at Stanley Works when it was threatened with a hostile takeover. I know about how government can help.
Stop. No, he doesn't. He has just proven it in his last... He doesn't care. He's not standing up for what is right. He is standing up for what is popular. Sure, he'll stand up when jobs are being lost or an injustice is being done. But at what expense? At what expense? You know, sometimes things are unjust. Sometimes things aren't good. Sometimes things are wrong. But you don't just stand up and use the bully pulpit and then use every bit of power you have with total reckless abandon on the law. This man hasn't done anything. He stood up for what's popular. Stand up for the law when it is unpopular. Stand up, Mr. Blumenthal, when everybody wants you to go after the AIG executives' bonuses and say, I'm sorry, but that isn't within my purview. If you want to change the law, then we should change the law. Stand up when it's unpopular. Stand up and have a spine, man. Stand up when people are going after somebody and saying, well, we don't have to read them their Miranda rights. They're a citizen. No matter how unpopular it makes you, stand up for what is right. This man won't do it. This is, I cannot tell you. I have nothing against this guy. I don't know this guy. He has been in Connecticut for a long time. I've lived in Connecticut off and on now for, 12, 15 years. I don't really know this guy other than a guy who just likes to get his name in the press an awful lot. He's a popular guy. I have no axe to grind other than every alarm bell in me rings. This man is dangerous. He is a dangerous man. Now, that is my gut based on what I have seen in this last interview with AIG. If that doesn't set off every alarm bell and you want to reward him with more power, I don't care if Linda McMahon turns out to be a frog. I'd rather have a frog in there than a guy who will abuse power for what's popular. Why is a democracy a bad thing? Why do we not want to be a democracy? Because popular rule can become mob rule. And that is exactly what he did. When he went after the AIG executives, he allowed mob rule. He allowed a democracy to happen. We are a republic, and we are a system of laws. We are a respecter of laws, not of men. He is only a respecter of men, of money, of power, and polls. Connecticut, you will get what you deserve. But unfortunately, you are inflicting this man on the rest of the nation at a time when we need men of character.
Or women.
Are we really at this place where you...
Well, yeah, because his opponent's a woman. And I want to make that clear to the voters in Connecticut that it could be a woman. And in this case, it is. It is a woman. All right? No, it's just my only point.
Her?
My only point
there. Do you like her?
Yeah, I like what she has said so far. I like what I know about her. I'm not a big WWE fan. But yeah, I'm not going to hold that against her. I mean, listen to
she doesn't sound. She doesn't sound. He goes on to
he babbles some more, and listen to her response, just to compare and contrast.
Yes. Jobs, and I want programs that provide more capital for small businesses.
Programs.
Better tax policies.
Government.
That will promote creation of jobs. Stronger intervention by government to make sure
government
that we
intervention.
The Made in America policies and
Made in America policies. How can that happen with
jobs,
Workers of the World Unite?
Rather than buying products that are manufactured overseas, as
You're about to respond
WWE has done.
Ms. McMahon.
Government, government, government. Government does not create jobs. It's very simple how you create jobs. An entrepreneur takes a risk. He or she believes that he creates a good or service that is sold for more than it costs to make it. And if an entrepreneur thinks he can do that, he creates a job.
There you go.
You know, here's a guy.
That's a big difference.
Here's a guy who is the Attorney General, the Chief Law Enforcement, and he wants more regulation, more regulation, more regulation, more regulation. How about, Dick, you enforce the laws you already have instead of making them up? Why don't you enforce the laws? You know how you create jobs? Well, a government creates jobs that only suck the people dry of money. That government does not create a job that creates money. They don't. They destroy money. That's all they do. Governments create jobs where they take the money from the private sector that could be used in other things, and they destroy that money by creating big pensions and big government monoliths that you have to navigate with more regulation, more this, more that. You'll never get through it. Here's how the entrepreneur creates jobs, exactly like Linda said. And you keep the government doing one thing. You enforce the law. If someone breaks the law, you put them in jail. No ifs, ands, or buts. If they break the law, they get the penalty that is required under law. Not more because it's really heinous. Unless the law says you can do that. Not less because they're part of your special interest group. You punish the people who are hurting others under the law. That's the best way the government can help create jobs. You stand for the rule of law. You stand for the rule of the law with things like bondholders, Dick. But they won't, because the progressive left and people like Dick Blumenthal only want power. They think they know better than you. They are the protectors. They are Captain America. And they will do whatever they have to protect themselves.